Three.
Academy Award University's Urban Nights update is next. Coming up, how a music pop star motivated thousands of people to register to vote.
A new marijuana study that may help reduce the pain of menstrual cramps.
How military families cope when their loved ones are sent far away.
And attention all music lovers, a classic is making a comeback. We'll have all that and more coming up next on Urban Nights Update. Hi, thanks for joining us at Urban Nights Update. Stefan Milivojevic is sitting in with me. I'm Elena Sapphire, and here's what's happening. Brett Kavanaugh is now a justice on the Supreme Court of the United States. He was sworn in over the weekend after a long FBI investigation and a contentious hearing. It was the high-test vote in the Supreme Court in 100 years, with a vote of 50 to 48. Democrats are not happy with this, urging their followers to go to the polls in November for the midterm election. Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi warns that Kavanaugh's confirmation will lead to rulings against women.
Comedian Amy Schumer and model actress Emilia Ratajkowski were arrested in the Kavanaugh's protest. A lot of people turned up at a U.S. Senate building in the nation's capital to challenge Kavanaugh's nomination. More than 300 were arrested. Schumer and Ratajkowski were among them. Ratajkowski tweeted that she got arrested for protesting against the man who has been accused by multiple women of sexual assault.
Is Taylor Swift the one to thank for a spike in voting registration? Well, some think she's got her fans signing up to register to vote. More than 169,000 new people have registered to vote after Swift broke her silence on her political views, encouraging people to vote after an Instagram post to her 1,112 million followers. The voting registration spike is of people between the ages of 18 to 24, which is Taylor's fan demographic. How many bills will Governor Jerry Brown kill? Brown has been on a run, vetoing bills including allowing bars in San Francisco to sell alcohol until 4 a.m. Brown believes there's enough problems between midnight and 2 a.m. Adding 2 hours will bring mayhem to the streets. There will soon be a new governor in Sacramento, so these bills can still be revived and have a chance to succeed in the future.
Your favorite seltzer is under fire for possibly containing some upsetting ingredients. A recent lawsuit alleges that the sparkling water LaCroix includes an ingredient used in cockroach insecticide. The suit mostly finds fault with the seltzer's claim that it contains all natural ingredients. The chemicals include limonene, which can cause tumors, and linalool, which is used in cockroach insecticide. This has caused a recall and possibly changing the brand name. Do you vape? The FDA is making a threat to ban vapes and menthols if stores cannot find a way to get out of these hands of minors. Zuri Williams has more information about this danger.
I went out to Oakland, California to see a longtime friend who I knew had a vape. I wanted to see exactly how and why she bought one of these and the reasons behind it all.
My name is Julie Benegal. I'm 17 years old and I'm a freshman in college. I got my Juul from my older cousin. It relaxes me during studying time or during stressful times of my life. I got the Juul because I just felt like I was fitting in with my friends. Most of my friend groups have it, so I just thought if I had it, I would be a lot more popular and cooler. But then I figured out that I do it also by myself.
I then traveled to the city of San Francisco to a smoke shop called Alma's off of Larkin and O'Farrell to talk to a store owner to see if they were taking any type of precautions to this new FDA threat on vapes.
Yeah, so we take all the required precautions not to sell cigarettes to minors. Like we always take the IDs and we never give cigarettes to any minors. It's really bad for them and we don't want this to happen at all. That's for sure, yeah, we're gonna lose so much money. They are taking all the flavored cigarettes, like all the menthols, we're gonna have almost third these shells right here, and they are taking all the flavored the Juul and the juicy flavor. Menthols are being taken out. the Fortuna menthol, the Pall the Newport menthol, all of these are being taken out. It's gonna only get left with regular cigarettes, and yeah, it's just gonna be regular cigarettes.
Yeah,
So
but-
people who smoke menthol or like any flavor, they either like will choose like to quit or like do with the regular.
It was very interesting to know that this owner was aware of the FDA's threats, and now we shall see if other stores are taking these words into consideration for their own.
The products being targeted for the FDA ban are Juuls, Fontem, Ventures by BAS Blue, and British American Tobacco, Views, and Logic.
The term higher education is taking a new meaning in Michigan County after police say a cheerleader brought some pot-laced brownies to school. The students gave the brownies to some of the athletes, which were inside goodie bags during homecoming week. 12 brownies were allegedly brought to school, but only 3 were recovered. Students involved could face felony charges, but for now, the school sent home letters saying students involved are being dealt with. Ladies, listen up. We all know periods are the worst, and what comes with periods, cramps, and we all hate those. But Harvard Medical School came in hot and made a kind of weed tampons. But this isn't an ordinary tampon. It's actually a pill that you insert in your body so that the CBD stops all the symptoms we hate. So with the $2 million funding and the 400 women that volunteered, Harvard will stay in touch and keep track of their symptoms within the next couple of months. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Anti-vaxxers, be warned. Say goodbye to HBV and hello to Gardasil 9, the free HPV vaccine. In a move that will lower HPV and cervical cancer, the FDA is giving away the free HPV vaccine for the men and women aged 27 to 45. HPV can also cause genital warts and cancers of the vulva and penis. It's sexually transmitted, and most adults encounter at least one strain at some point of their lives. The FDA is expanding the age range, finding that it works up until you're 45. According to a US government study, STDs are at an all-time high. It's a concern for young people and the topic of today's roundtable discussion. Tamara Jaber joins us now.
Thanks, Stefan. Hi, everyone. I'm Tamara, and this is Roundtable, where opinions count. I'm with Ben, Raquel, and Zuri, and today we're talking STDs. So they are on the rise. We don't know why. We're in 2018, and a US government survey has shown us that they are the highest they've ever been. And I really want to know why. With all the education, with everything we know, why do you guys think that this is happening?
People are careless nowadays. They just go out, want to have fun, and don't ever think about the consequences.
You know, there's a lot of other reason why people are just having sex. You know, like there's a lot of plan Bs and things that you could do after the fact instead of thinking in the moment and like being responsible. And I think that's why people have reassurance in plan B and Prep C and everything, that they continue to just do it.
So you think like just in the moment, people are like, they don't know how to say that question.
Exactly.
Like, how do you ask in that awkward moment? Zuri, do you have experience?
I think that, you know, like whenever it like pretty much comes to the moment, like people usually go for pleasure more than anything else. I feel like they're kind of awkward to like ask, you know, like for I don't know, like whoever they're asking may be like, oh, like why are you asking this? Like, I mean, I don't know, like do you like possibly have something? Or?
I mean, like if you're gonna have sex with someone, right? And you want to know if they have an STD or anything like that, right?
But do you always ask?
No,
no
one
we
ever
don't.
asks.
Come on,
No one ever
you
asks.
don't always
Nope.
ask.
I mean,
Nobody.
You kind of you're gonna ask like at some point, unless it's like you're never gonna see that person,
Or,
right?
or you're just gonna rock up to the doctors and they're gonna tell you you've got chlamydia.
Exactly.
I
you've
feel
got
like
syphilis.
honestly, I feel like even in relationships, you don't ask.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
You know, I think it's that feeling of trust. So you should trust that they don't have anything. And going off what Ben said earlier, it's a reassurance. So if you have a one-night stand, you have the option just to go to anywhere, CVS, Target, and get that Plan B pill, and you're fine.
So tell me I'm hearing a lot about this Prep C, but I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Prep C is a pill that you take every day for a month, and then you go to the doctor after that, and you go get checked every 3 months for the year. And this is for anything from sexual to needle injections, so drugs. So again, another thing to go, you have your reassurance for if you have unsafe sex with someone that you weren't 100% sure about. And
This is the problem with our society, though. Like, people don't want to think about it ahead. Like I said before, like they might not be careless, but they just want to do it. You know, like it's just like, let's do it and then worry
Deal
about
with
it
it later.
after. Exactly, and it's not the right thing to do, in my opinion.
And do you think people are passing things on without getting checked? Because I know people don't get checked as much as they should.
they don't.
No,
Definitely not.
I think people are scared to get checked.
Well, yeah, that's very awkward.
I think for females it's kind of different though, because females, I think once you hit a certain age, you have to go to the doctor every couple years to get, everything checked out and everything.
Yeah, I just feel like people are just kind of like scared to like really like, I don't know, just to like hear the truth, you know? They don't really want to know what's going on.
So you think it's the whole stigma along with the fact that we just want pleasure above everything else?
Exactly,
I
I
think so.
completely agree.
Definitely.
So what's the advice? What can people do?
I feel like personally, if you're not comfortable going somewhere, even though there's plenty of places you can go to get checked for free, you should, if you ever feel any symptoms, I think basic thing, Google it, look it up, and then if you are having some symptoms, I think you should definitely go to the doctor. You should definitely put the shame away.
All right, cool. Well, you heard it here on Roundtable. That's all we have for today. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that lively discussion, guys. Sexual abuse in the Catholic Church has been an unfortunate topic in the news lately. The Diocese of Oakland has announced that they will be releasing the names of priests found responsible for past sexual abuse. During an August grand jury report, it was discovered that the state's Catholic Church had kept quiet for more than 7 decades when over 300 priests were found responsible. The newest Nobel Peace Prize is a former sex slave, Nadia Murad. She was enslaved by ISIS militants after they executed her mother and brothers in 2014. Hundreds of Murad's fellow villagers were slaughtered along with Yazidi women who were kept as a slave, repeatedly and threatened. After months in captivity, she escaped in 2016. She became a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador advocate against sexual assault.
Even though Governor Brown has voted a plan to open a drug injection site, San Francisco's Mayor London Breed hasn't lost hope. The city of San Francisco has been battling the drug addict situation for some time. The amount of syringes and slumped-over addicts on the streets seems to keep increasing. The site will provide space for people to inject drugs and rooms where they will recover, keeping both needles and addicts off the street. Mayor Breed is still trying to find a way to make it happen. After an uphill battle, the city of San Francisco still does not allow e-scooters. However, Lyft is asking to reverse the city's decision to only grant 2 permits for e-scooter. Rental, Scoot, and Skip were the 2 companies that were chosen to start operating next week. Lyft is doing everything it can to expand beyond just car service. So if those scooters are back in action, don't be surprised if you see a Lyft sign on scooters.
We see a lot of people having stress issues over technology, but it also doesn't help when they can't get from point A to point B. But for many, Uber and Lyft are lifesavers. Gonzo Rios asked people which one they prefer to use for our question of the week.
I prefer Uber. The only reason is I've only taken Uber, haven't really tried Lyft. It's pretty convenient. Can't really complain about their service, never really had bad run-ins, and it's pretty affordable.
I prefer Lyft over Uber because I find Lyft drivers to be more social and easier to talk with.
I pick Uber because the drivers are a lot more conversational and the fare is usually cheaper.
I choose Lyft just because Uber doesn't accept my card, so I just stay with Lyft, and it's pretty much easy to go with.
I prefer Uber. Lyft, they had those funky mustaches for a while, and I didn't really know what that was all about. And then I found out, and I still don't know why they had the mustache. It doesn't have much to do with driving. Yeah, it's their style. Uber doesn't have style. I mean, Lyft doesn't have style. Uber has style.
Fleet Week has come and gone, but the memories of stunt flying and visiting ships remain. This past weekend, thousands of people crowded the San Francisco waterfront to enjoy the warm weather and watch the aerial shows, courtesy of the Patriots, Canadian Snowbirds, and the Blue Angels. Being in the military isn't all fun and games. There are many families affected when service members are left behind. We head out to Alameda where Mark Ackerman takes a closer look.
Nicole Abbey was about to welcome her husband home after a 5-month deployment, 5 of the toughest months of her life. Nicole and her husband of 2 years moved out to California from Maryland when he was sent to the U.S. Coast Guard base in Alameda. All alone with her husband off at sea, Nicole went searching for support. The East Bay Spouses Club is a non-profit organization aimed to provide social support and communication throughout the Bay Area. A great place to meet new people outside of her unit.
So while my husband's gone, instead of sitting here and playing with my cats by myself, I have plenty of opportunities to go hang out with other spouses and get to know new people and new things and experience new adventures all around the Bay Area.
The group holds weekly meetings to socialize and to talk about upcoming group events.
Honestly, all the meetings that we have are so much fun, and we sit around with like 20 or 30 other spouses and just talk about ways that we can help the community and help each other. And it really brings some warmth to my soul.
Now it's time to head down to the base and find out more about the club firsthand.
Today I'm here in Alameda, Coast Guard Island, at the Health Expo, where the East Bay Spouses Club has a table set up trying to recruit new members and promote upcoming events for the club.
During the Health Expo on the U.S. Coast Guard base in Alameda, we caught up with Nicole Lauer, Vice President of the East Bay Coast Guard Spouses Club, to ask a few questions.
Honestly, anybody's eligible to join a club. I know it's called the East Bay Spouses Club, but you do not have to be a spouse to join our club. We really do a lot of outreach activities within the community. We're always at all the Cutters homecomings to make sure that people who don't have family here are always feeling welcomed back to the base. To join the club, you just have to go to our website, eastbayspousesclub.com, and we have all of our sign-up information on there.
In Alameda, I'm Mark Ackerman for Urban Nights Update.
The club collects a yearly membership fee of $15 to help fund club events.
History was made on Monday Night Football as the New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees broke the all-time NFL passing yardage record. Brees threw a 62-yard bomb to Traquan Smith for a touchdown to surpass Peyton Manning's record of 71,940 yards. That's like throwing the ball for 40.8 miles, which is long for a quarterback that doesn't fit the typical size of 6'4". Drew Brees is only 6 feet tall, but now towers above all other quarterbacks in the record books. During a Monday night preseason between the Warriors and the Suns, head coach Steve Kerr had some words for the officials that got him ejected. Steph Curry and other Warriors got called for fouls that Kerr considered to be questionable. While getting thrown out of the game, Kerr waved goodbye and shouted, "I didn't want to be here anyway." The Suns ended up winning the game 117-109. Speaking about being kicked out, FIFA suspended Sierra Leone on the basis of government interference. FIFA is demanding that they reinstate two Sierra Leone officials who are currently under investigation by their government. Sierra Leone was scheduled to play 2 games this month, but FIFA is not building on the ban. Apparently, the 2 officials are suspected of fixing games, but FIFA believes getting rid of them is under its jurisdiction, not the nation's.
Now let's get an in-depth look at the Academy Athletics. Here's Brendan Otero with the latest in sports.
Welcome everybody. Today we have another week filled with Art U sports teams on their pursuit of excellence. The men's soccer team played 2 games over the week. The women's golf team had a fun trip down to Utah. Basketball season is upon us, and we'll introduce the men and women's teams. Also, stay tuned for a surprise inclusion. Let's get into it. Men's soccer played a thriller against second place Fresno Pacific at the San Francisco City College field and lost 4-3. A season high in goals could not turn into a victory for the Urban Knights, who are still looking for their first win in conference. In a back-and-forth affair, the Urban Knights went down 3-2 in the 84th minute, but showed their spirit with an equalizer 4 minutes later by midfielder Andrew Deans, which forced sudden death overtime. Unfortunately, Art U could not complete the comeback, losing to a goal in the 99th minute. 3 goals were the highest scored in the game by the Urban Knights in over 3 years, and they hope that goal-scoring form continues against Notre Dame de Namur this week. Women's golf traveled to Utah for the Dixie State Fall Invitational and came out victorious. Sophomore Anahi Servin led the field, shooting 2 below par over the weekend. leading the Urban Knights, who finished with a cumulative score of 9 over par. That score was 5 strokes better than Cal State East Bay, who finished second at the event. Individually, Servin has won back-to-back tournaments and is undefeated so far this season. The juniors Elaine Hawkins and Vicky Kuo also finished in the top 10, coming in 4th and 6th respectively. Off to the best start in program history, the Urban Knights look to continue this hot start with another victory at the Sonoma State Fall Invitational later this month. Basketball season is almost here, and both the men and women's teams are looking to build on successes of last season with some new and old faces. The women's team is looking to start fresh with new head coach Camille Williams finally able to put her stamp on the team. She has brought in 5 new players headlined by 6'7" center Anastasia Sabaiva, who last played at Division I Kansas State. Coach Williams took over at the team at the end of last season and is hoping for a promising start. The men's team brings in 3 new recruits in Andrea Blatancic, Nemanja Kovacevic, and Lake Del Mar. The men's team had their best season in program history last year and are looking to continue on that path and go further by making the conference and NCAA tournament for the first time. Here's one of the new recruits speaking on the goals for the season.
I'm pretty excited to be at RU because I heard a lot of good stuff about it. I heard that it's a pretty prestigious school. It's one of the best art schools in the country, so pretty excited to be here. As far as the basketball team, I think we can go the whole way this year. We have a pretty talented team this year, and probably better than most of the years that we've been here. A pretty good set of guys from in all different positions, so I think we're gonna go pretty far this year.
I told you I'd have a surprise, and esports is taking the stage at ArtU. The video game phenomena that is Fortnite has found its way onto the radar of ArtU esports. There's an intramural tournament being held next Saturday at the esports floor of the 180 New Montgomery building. Registration is still open, and console players have a chance to play in the comfort of their own home. The prize has not been announced, but previous spoils have included graphics cards and items that are worth hundreds of dollars in today's market. For struggling students, why not test your luck and see if you're the best Fortnite player at Academy? That's all we have today in the world of sports. This is Bruno Otero signing off. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Brandon. Rolling Knight, along with sports, the Oakland Raiders and his fan base are having mixed emotions about their plan to relocate. Plus, the recent struggles on the field have the Raider Nation rattled up even more. Andy Cho went to the Coliseum to find out more.
Last year's disappointing 6-10 record, along with the news of the team relocating, there is a big question mark around the Raider Nation. But how will Oakland's fan base be during their time here? It turned out to be a very simple and easy answer.
I feel like Oakland is a die-hard Raiders fan. You know, people enjoy coming here. They love the culture, they love the atmosphere. So I mean, it's just the fact that this is one of the only NFL teams in Oakland, so people really love it.
A rough start to the season has been frustrating the entire Raider Nation, but the passion of black and silver showed out for yet another sellout.
You know, obviously, I'm close to Oakland. I'd rather have them stay home, which is home to the Raiders. But I'm not going to switch teams. I'm not going to go to the other team in the Bay Area. And the Raiders go, then my loyalty to the Raiders goes with them. You know, Vegas is still Vegas. I'm sure we'll make the best of it as far as party-wise and tailgate-wise and everything else. Hopefully the team will be successful. But I just like the team to be successful wherever they're at. I'm not going to switch teams, especially to the other team here in the East Bay. I want the Raiders to do well. I want my kids to do well. I want them to be home, but I will love them no matter what.
Even with many fans being vocal about not supporting the Raiders once they move to Las Vegas, it sure looks like they are still the same passionate fans. It was Andy J. Choi from Oakland, Urban Knights Updates.
It looks like the fans are just as passionate as before. It remains to be seen if Oakland fans will keep the passion once the team leaves the area.
So, if football isn't your thing, lots of other ways to have fun. Mark Ackerman joins us now with the entertainment news.
Thanks, Elena. This week in entertainment, we'll be focusing on the movies, so pop up your popcorn and let's get this show started. Coming in at the top spot this weekend, making an impressive $80.4 million during its opening weekend, we have one of Marvel's most obscure and complicated characters, Venom. Starring Tom Hardy, Venom casts Eddie Brock in his classic role as an investigative reporter, looking into the rumors around the Life Foundation, a shady biomed company that's been testing an alien life form on vulnerable volunteers. After coming into contact with the alien symbiote, Brock starts to develop superhuman strength and power. Twisted, dark, and fueled by rage, Venom tries to control the new and dangerous abilities that Eddie finds so intoxicating. Here's what Hardy had to say on playing the role.
Everybody here didn't come to just, like take a paycheck and just dial or phone something in. We want to play, and the pressure is there also because Venom's a much loved character that belongs to a lot of people and they want specificity.
Coming in at number 2 this weekend, racking up $43 million on its opening weekend is A Star is Born. In this new take on the iconic love story, 4-time Oscar nominee Bradley Cooper makes his directorial debut and also stars alongside multiple award-winning superstar Lady Gaga. Cooper portrays seasoned musician Jackson Maine, who discovers and falls in love with the young struggling artist Allie. Just as she's about to give up on her aspirations to become a big-time singer, Jack helps her to fame. But as her singing career takes off, the personal side of their relationship starts to take a turn for the worst, as Jack fights an ongoing battle with his own internal demons. Those were 2 of the most popular movies at the box office this weekend. But now it's time to take a look ahead and see what highly anticipated films are due up next to hit the big screen. Up first, we take a look at the life of an astronaut, Neil Armstrong, and the upcoming flick, First Man. On the heels of their 6-time Academy Award-winning hit La La Land, star Ryan Gosling and accomplished director Damien Chazelle team up again for Universal's First Man, the compelling story of NASA's mission to land a man on the moon, focusing on Neil Armstrong in the 1960s leading up to the historic Apollo 11 flight. Told from Armstrong's perspective based on the book by James R. Hansen, this instinctual first-person account explores the sacrifices and costs on Armstrong and the nation during one of the most dangerous missions in the U.S. history. First Man is set to hit theaters on October 12th. Next up, filmmakers David Gordon Green and Danny McBride craft a new path in the story from the landmark film Halloween, wiping the slate clean after several disappointing sequels. It's been 40 years since Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, survived a ferocious attack from crazed killer Michael Myers on Halloween night. Now locked away in an institution, Myers manages his escape when a bus transfer goes terribly wrong. Laurie now faces a frightening showdown when the white-masked madman returns to Haddonfield, Illinois. But this time she is ready for him. Here's what Jamie Lee Curtis had to say about reprising her role as Laurie Strode.
I knew I was going to say yes on page 4. Right away, I understood how they had jumped a generation, and now it was my teenage granddaughter 40 years later on Halloween night.
Now that you're all caught up on the movies, that'll do it for this week's entertainment segment. Now back to you.
Thanks, Mark. For all you music lovers, are record stores a thing of the past? Or is vinyl back from the dead? Tamara Jabber heads to Amoeba Music in San Francisco Hyde, Ashbury to find out why millennials are going wild for vinyl.
Over the past few years, analog goods have experienced a surprising resurgence, despite the fact these technologies are becoming functionally obsolete. Over the past decade, record sales have been on the rise. So in the age of music streaming and downloading, who is still listening to vinyl? In 2015, Music Watch reported that half of vinyl record buyers were under 25. So why would someone pay $20 or more for a scratchy disc to play on a turntable when you can download it for free? And I'm here at Amoeba Music to find out what all the fuss is about.
I think if you're looking, again, as a fan, a music fan, you want something real. you're really kind of showing your colors by buying a record. The sleeve is a huge part of the appeal of the. There's no doubt that a 12-inch record is a lot sexier than pressing a button on your computer. You know, it's a very sterile experience dealing with streaming. If you have a record, you put a record on, there's a certain ceremony to it that I think is very organic. Jack White from the White Stripes is a very smart guy, and he has said that in the near future there'll be only streaming and vinyl. Everything comes out on record these days, and I think that's going to be the deal for quite a while. So yeah, I think you could easily say that vinyl is back from the dead and it's here to stay.
I'm Tamara Jaber for your Urban Nights update.
Looks like a fun place. I might have to check it out.
But you'll have to make sure you have a turntable. Well, that wraps up this edition of Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. For everyone here, thanks for watching. I'm Elena Sapphire.
And I'm Stefan Milivojevic. We'll see you next time.